You're listening to the all-new CultureCast, Chicagoland's finest podcast. Welcome back, everyone, to the all-new CultureCast. I'm your host, Nick, and with me tonight is...
The Gorehound.
Alrighty. Hey, Gorehound.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good.
Tonight, our main topic is going to be Batman the Killing Joke. Not the recently released direct-to-DVD animated feature, but rather the graphic novel that the animated feature was based on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was just released as a full-length movie, and it's got a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, so we decided to go back and look at the original thing from 1988, written by Alan Moore and drawn by Brian Bolland, I think is how you pronounce his name. I could be wrong. But we'll get into that. But before we get going here, Gorehound, what have you been watching lately?
Well, just 9 minutes ago, I finished the Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens.
The Fourth Awakens.
And it was, I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know why I watched it from beginning to end. There's something wrong with me. I don't know.
Did Tara Reid, did she live or die at the end of number 3? I remember that was the big thing. You had to call in.
Yeah, that was so stupid. It was. Yeah, she was alive. I think she was like a robot or something like that. But I don't like Tara Reid. She is just gone downhill. People do. And apparently in real life she's a crazy person. Yeah, I mean, when she was in American Pie, you know, she was doing good, and then it just went downhill from there. And I thought she could come back up like Britney Spears did after she shaved her head, but no, she's just yeah. But her dad was Gary Busey in this one.
Oh God,
and
Gary
I thought,
Busey.
You two actually make a pretty good couple. You both are crazy. But
it runs in the family.
Yeah. For a quick review, it was... I don't know if it was as bad as the third one. There wasn't as many cameos in it, but it was the same exact thing. And for a sci-fi plot line, you have to do something different. This is the fourth one of doing the same exact thing. You know, there's a reason that you don't see Shark versus like Mecha Shark 2 or 3 or 4. It's because the plot is very shallow, and if you're going to make a sequel, it's going to be the same exact thing. So give us something different. But I did see a preview for a sequel called To Lava, To Lantula.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, like, isn't that like a spin-off of the Sharknado films?
I don't know. I think that there was a Lava Lantula.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a sequel, and maybe it's some kind of relation, but I thought that was pretty good.
I'm looking it up right now.
Just that name is so good.
Lava Lantula.
To Lava, To Lantula.
I'm looking up right now. I guess one of the characters from Sharknado reprises his role in Lava Lantula. Right, so I guess it is within the same cinematic universe.
Yeah.
But there you go.
The second thing I've been watching has been the Alien series. I am cruising through, and I've got 2 more to watch, and then I will have watched the entire series. Does that include the Aliens versus Predators? Yeah, I had to buy those on Amazon because I couldn't find them anywhere.
Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah, and I found them for $5, a double feature on Amazon. I was like, oh, nice. Yes. And for Alien vs. Predator, I'm not looking for Blu-ray. I'm just looking to get the.
You don't need the high end.
Yeah, because because I've got a Blu-ray book set, and that was awesome to watch it on because I tried watching something else, and I can really tell a difference between Blu-ray and a regular DVD, and because I watched Prometheus, and that was like awesome on Blu-ray because you could really see the attention to detail on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. How about yourself?
Well, not so much watching, but today, most of my day consisted of putting together our new TV stand and our new TV. My in-laws got us a wedding gift of a 60-inch high-def Ultra 4K television set.
No need to brag about it, but
No need to brag about it.
probably bigger than yours.
I don't want to say that, but we finally got it set up today, and this thing is huge. It is crazy big, and so it's going to take some getting used to, but we were watching a little bit. I threw on the movie GoldenEye, because it happened to be on the top of the pile, so I'm like, okay, let me see how this looks. Oh my gosh.
You can see a difference?
Yeah, I really can. I know they say that with high def, you need it to be a certain screen size to really take advantage of it. You need to be a certain distance. It's a weird mathematical thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this James Bond movie, and it's like I'm really there. It's like it was shot with someone's like camcorder in the backyard. You know, that's how like it's almost like too clear. You're right there. Yeah. And we're both thrilled with it. We are really excited about it. So it's just a matter of getting used to the high defness of it. Yeah. That our eyes are going to be adjusted. Need to get adjusted to it, but
when viewing stuff on the TV, my biggest difficulty is volume control and darkness of it, because it's the summer and we don't always have our AC on, and so watching a movie, and we live right by North Ave, and so it's like if we don't close we have to close the door to really hear it fine. And we have to close all the windows, and that's the biggest thing. Because watching movies in the fall and winter is just so easy, because, everything is closed, and it's dark all the time, so it really helps.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, especially with the AC. In past apartments, I've had AC that's been, like, just insanely loud, so I put my TV up, and then the AC goes off, and, like, why is my TV so loud? So...
Yeah.
Oh, well, first world problems, I suppose. But so, do you have a male crush of the week?
Yes, I do, and I don't know if I've repeated this one, but this has been like a recurring one. But Kevin Smith, I can't praise.
You love your Kevin Smith.
I can't praise him enough, but he's Yoga Hosers is coming out in a month and 2 days, or actually maybe 30 days, depending on how willing I am. Yoga Hosers is coming out September 2nd, same day, the birthday of the Graveyard Queen also. And since I don't want to see Yoga Hosers, a Kevin Smith movie, on the Graveyard Queen's birthday, there's actually a early release on the Tuesday before at a nearby mall for like $14, and I can see the extended scenes or like a featurette at the end. So I'm getting really excited about it. And I mentioned before, I listen to probably about an hour or two of Kevin Smith a week, and so I'm getting very excited about this one coming up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope it's as good as it can possibly be for you. A couple weeks back, I had the opportunity to see Ghostbusters at an advanced showing, and it was a lot of fun coming to the show with. That? I'll send you a link. There is a website that has listings of advanced showings of movies, and it's you can find it by state and whatever. Yeah. You select the movie, then you find where they're saying, and then it's a variety of things. Sometimes there are contests, sometimes you just sign up for it. However the deal is, you click on then the actual sites. Yeah. Who's putting on the showing. And this one, they had the Ghostbusters, and all you had to do was use your American Express card to pay for the tickets. I didn't own an American Express card, but I went to the store and got one of those prepaid cards. Yeah. And I just used that. You made it happen. I made it happen.
Yeah, and there's a way.
Yeah. It said you can use those cards, so I'm like, I'm going to use this card.
Yeah. Awesome.
And so that's how that happened there. I'll have to make sure I think it's advanced movie screenings or something like that. Let me see. AdvancedScreenings.com. So, I'll send you the link here. Let's see.
I see.
Boom.
So I bet that I would see this Kevin Smith one on here.
Perhaps, yeah. Because lots of times people do this for early promotion, or they want to get some buzz out there, or a variety of things.
Hmm. I know it happens in the city quite a bit.
Yeah, this one we were lucky. When I saw Ghostbusters, it was in Barrington, so it wasn't too far away for us.
Yeah.
Let's jump on into our main topic for tonight. So we are talking about the 1988 graphic novel The Killing Joke by Alan Moore.
Yeah, that's a little bit old right now. 1988, my birth year.
Well, happy birthday, I suppose. So, in this story, it has a weird history. I don't know how much you know about the history of this, or the legacy of this comic.
I actually, I don't really read a whole lot of DC comics, but I know that when you go to the graphic novel section of your local library, like 25% of the books are Batman comics. And I never wanted to dive right in, but I'm sure that I've seen this, and just because the movie came out, and there's this website dig.com, and there was like a featurette on there about this, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's interesting, and so I sought it out and found all the controversy and behind it.
So the storyline, we'll talk about the controversy momentarily, but the storyline, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you're into pop culture and you probably are familiar with it one way or another, but in it, the Joker paralyzes Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, kidnaps Commissioner Gordon because he wants to drive him insane. Like, you'll have one bad day to go insane, and Batman's trying to stop him. At the same time, there's flashbacks depicting what might be the Joker's origin, how he was a comedian, and his wife died, but he got hooked up to this criminal stuff, and he fell into a vat of chemicals, which caused him to become the Joker there. And hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
I don't know, is that a pretty fair...
Yeah, I didn't really know it was questionable. I thought it was the Joker's origin story.
Well, they leave it open-ended because, at the end there, Joker's saying, like, sometimes I like it multiple choice. So, you don't know for sure. It's implied that it is, but DC Comics later on have gone back and kind of muddled the waters to keep Joker more of a mystery. But, it's one of the possibilities there.
But yeah, and there's like a big emphasis on, it's one bad day can do all of this, and there's a lot of parallels between Joker and Batman, how they're pretty much polar opposites, but
the two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Yeah. When the book was originally written, it was meant to be a standalone, out of continuity storyline. Like, it wasn't meant to be happening. Nothing was meant to happen in the book that was going to affect the normal Batman comics. Like, it's just going to be like one of those random out there tales, and just for fun. But it had such a impact on readership that DC decided to actually make it a part of the official Batman, continuity. Specifically, with Barbara Gordon becoming paralyzed and becoming the wheelchair-bound hero known as Oracle, who was a part of DC Comics for a good 25 years or so before they rebooted with the New 52 and made her walk again.
Yeah. So how did she gain this power as the Oracle?
She really doesn't have a power. She's like a big-time computer person. And so she's like when Batman and the other heroes need computer or tech help, they'll call her, and she can, like, do everything with computers. So it's not like she has, like, powers. She just is...
Really smart.
Really smart, and is good with, technology, so...
I follow.
That's her thing there. So let me ask you, Gorehound, what did you think of the Killing Joke?
My first impression was that it was very short. I finished it I thought it was, because I don't know if it was like a special release that I got, but I finished, like, got halfway through, and I was like, oh wait, this is over. And then I just saw some interview with the editor or writer, and so I kind of put it down, but then I was just about to return, and then I realized, oh wait, there's this whole other section after it that I got a little confused with. The end of the story is... Tell me what the end of the story is.
Batman catches up with the Joker. They share a joke about a convict trying to escape on a beam of light, and then they
Okay.
just start
Then
laughing.
the cops show up.
Then the cops show up. Yeah, that's the end of the story.
Okay. Yeah, then apparently there was like some, like, I don't know, deleted comics at the end of this one, so I got a little confused with it.
Okay.
But the reason I was interested in this was because of the controversial rape scene. But I realized that it wasn't all about that there was actually a lot more to this, which made me happy that you actually got to see, more than just the one thing that people are talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Let's go ahead first into the controversy.
Yeah.
The controversy surrounds Barbara Gordon on her attack and supposed sexual assault.
Right, it is supposed.
Yeah, I don't think she was raped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't subscribe to that. I think, yeah, you could say she was assaulted in that, the Joker stripped her down, took pictures of her to show her dad, to freak her dad out. But I never got the impression that, the Joker had his way with her at all.
Right.
Joker's a crazy character, but I don't see him. It strikes me out of character for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's like not his brand of crazy, so to speak. So like I don't necessarily buy into that theory per se.
Right.
But that's
it's not
just,
as explicit as the articles that I previously read made it out to be.
I think they do overstate it quite a bit, and I think here's the thing: anytime there's a controversy about something, chances are the people complain about haven't actually read the material in question. And so they really don't know what they're talking about, but they want to get in on the controversy, and it seems like everything is like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a small part of the story that this happens, and another part of the controversy is that there's a stereotype in comic books that, and I guess in all kinds of fiction, where female characters are hurt, kidnapped, killed, whatever, as a way to motivate the male characters. And some people view that as being sexist, which I think there's an argument at play there.
Yeah.
And some people were, they were so disgusted at what they did to Barbara Gordon. And again, I don't know if
And the fact that the male is very rarely humiliated. It's more often the females that are humiliated.
Exactly, yes. I mean, it does happen to males, but historically, females tend to have it, that happens to them way more.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that Jim Gordon in this story also was, you could argue he was sexually assaulted as well, because he's stripped down, he's shown these things, he's...
Mm-hmm. Perhaps more so than we see Barbara Gordon being humiliated.
That's true. There can be an argument made for that. There can be an argument made, but the only difference is when you take the historical context into it. Some people might argue differently, but there is an argument for what you're saying. I really do think that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think the way I view it, at least in this case, Joker's intent was pure mayhem. I think Barbara being female in the case of this story is incidental. She happened to be there, wrong place at the wrong time. If Barbara Gordon was, I don't know, Bruce Gordon, and was a guy, the same thing probably would have happened.
Yeah, I can see that.
A gender would not have even been a thing.
Yeah.
But, so yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the story was more the central premise of the story was simply that they're one and the same person. Both one day has turned their lives in a crazy direction, and it's basically just going to be a battle like this forever, as the comics will go on.
What did you think happened at the end?
I was staring at it for a long time because I could not figure it out. I presume that the cops took him away and that Batman turned him in to do it by the book.
Yeah, there's an argument being made.
I couldn't figure out any other thing that could have happened because the only difference that I saw was that the beam of light had disappeared. That was the most observant thing that I was seeing. Nothing else, and I don't know. I felt like I was missing something, but
Now, if you obviously this isn't the in continuity thing, but some people argue that since the book was originally meant to be out of continuity, its own thing, not going to have any impact on the main Batman comics. Some people argue that Batman kills the Joker at the end, and you don't see it because it leaves it a little bit ambiguous. And the argument that's being done is those last couple panels, is you see, Joker and Batman are laughing together. Batman reaches out towards him like he's putting his hands on his shoulders. And then you just kind of see, the ground, and you see like the laughing, and then from one panel to the next, the laughing stops. Like Batman just snapped his neck or something.
I could see that. But I mean, because I'm looking at it right now, but you don't really see like a knife or anything, and you could just make it out to be that you just punched him or maybe like ripped his heart out.
True.
But then what is the beam of light that's disappeared in the last panel?
I think it's the cops turning off their lights, like because they arrive by a car, and so they're there, and they turn off the lights, probably realizing, oh, Joker's dead. I guess we don't need to have the lights on anymore. I don't know. It's very ambiguous and open to interpretation.
Yeah, which is good because I mean it is a comic, and you want to extend it, so you want to take it in any direction that you want after that.
Yeah.
What did you think of the comic in total?
I thought it was okay. I guess by the time I had read it for the first time, it was a couple years back, it was so talked up as being a classic and everything. So I was really like ready to go into it. I'm like, all right. And I left it. And I'm like, well, okay. I guess it was pretty good. I mean, nothing like, oh my God, drop everything and read this. But I don't know.
I think like one of the greatest storybook comic storylines is the death of Superman.
That's my all-time favorite, mostly because that's how I got into comics.
Yeah, no, I mean it's so crazy and awesome, and you just see all these elements being incorporated, and that's what I felt like this was being talked up to be like a classic storyline, but I would think it's in no way compared to the death of Superman.
I think some of it has to do with, at the time this was made, there was nothing else like it. And since then, this storyline, or this type of storyline, has influenced other writers, other comics, who have gone on to emulate and move beyond what this story did. So the stuff in this story...
1988, this was a long time ago.
Yeah, and this was...
Actually, 18 years ago.
18 years.
No. Wow.
You are not 18 years old.
28.
28 years ago.
Man.
So, it's like, to compare this story to another story written by Alan Moore, Watchmen. You read that today, and you're like, okay. But when you read it at the time, that was groundbreaking. Nothing had been done like that before. And it's tough to feel what people felt back then, since it's so commonplace today. Does that make any sense?
No, yeah, I completely follow.
I guess it's almost kind of like watching an old, Frankenstein or Dracula movie from the 1930s. Back then, that was the top-of-the-line scariest stuff you could ever come up with.
Yeah, like Halloween now.
Yeah. Now it's kind of like,
It's difficult to comprehend that was, like, really scary back then. And it's just, but I can understand where that would, and I guess it's really difficult now because, I mean, people are just so creative. I don't know. Are people more creative now than they were back then?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
People are going to, in regards to comic books, people are going to argue and debate that everything sucks now. But, I don't know. I just think that times are different.
Yeah, and a different level of creativity and emphasis is being put on different aspects now.
Mm-hmm. But what did you think of the Joker's origin? The idea behind it?
I guess I never really knew Joker's origin, but it seemed pretty unoriginal that he just fell into a vat of... I thought it was a lake of chemicals, but no different, and that just seemed pretty...
Well, I guess not so much him falling into the vat of chemicals, because that seems to be the go-to for a lot of things, but like
Right.
leading up to the vat of chemicals, like
Oh.
the stuff with his wife and him falling in with the Red Hood gang and all that.
I guess I didn't think much of it. Seemed legit, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. How about yourself?
It's interesting. It's weird that the Joker, who's this homicidal maniac, they try to turn him into like a tragic character. I mean, it did the job of what this story was trying to do. But that's kind of what you're saying, how Batman and the Joker can be turned by one bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Batman, of course, the death of his parents.
Yeah.
I don't know. It did its job, I suppose.
Yeah. You think it was a good interpretation? Or I felt like this Joker was like very classic Joker in comparison to where the qualities of this Joker are really portrayed through all of them, and it was like a solid interpretation of Joker.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely Joker at his twistedness. I mean, he's a weird guy, that's for sure. Joker, he doesn't like try to reinvent the wheel. Alan Moore doesn't try to reinvent the wheel with Joker.
Yeah.
And he just does like the most classic version because he's trying to tell a very straightforward story. He's not really I don't think he set out to do anything groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But
With the exception of the ending and the rape scene, I felt like everything else was pretty straightforward and concrete. Like, this is what happened.
yeah, I say so. And also whether or not the story of Joker's origin is actually true or not.
Right,
But,
because it is from his point of view, is that correct?
Yeah, and let's see, I pulled up the quote here. It said something like, I can't remember how it goes. I can't find the quote. It said something like, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I just like it's multiple choice or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Oh, wait, sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another. If I'm going to have a past, I prefer to be multiple choice. So you don't quite know if that is... He's an unreliable narrator when he tells that story, so...
Mm-hmm. I guess I didn't really like that he just became the Joker through the vat, the lake of chemicals. It's just... I like to think of him as putting this makeup on and just it never coming off. Him just sleeping in it. Yeah, I guess because that's what I always thought that was that he was doing it himself.
I know in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies that's the case, but I think the majority of time in the comics it's like that's his skin. Like that's what his skin looks like. And the implication going back from the beginning, I think, was that he fell into a vat of chemicals that made him like that, which was displayed in the 1989 Batman movie with what's his face, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He fell into chemicals, but he was a mob boss. He wasn't a comedian gone wrong in that movie, so
Right.
they changed it. But yeah, would you recommend this story to others people to read if they're like, I want to read a Batman story?
I would not be the person to recommend a Batman story because I have read so few. I mean, I can't honestly. I can't even recall any other ones. Because I got this and because I saw Batman versus the Undead and I was like, oh, I gotta get that one.
I think there's also a comic like Batman and Superman versus Aliens and Predator.
Yeah.
I think that's a real comic that someone decided this would be a good idea to make.
Yeah. Oh gosh, would I recommend this to somebody? Probably not, because I probably wouldn't recommend a comic. No, I wouldn't, because just the controversy behind it. I would want something that's more ends on a happy note. This is what's happening at the end of this one is going to be good, and that's not necessarily the case in this. I would probably recommend I don't know. Would you?
If they were looking for like a interesting Batman story or a Joker versus Batman story, I probably would. I'd probably say, hey, there's some controversy around it, which might get people more interested in it. But yeah, I might. It depends on the person, because I don't
Yeah.
know. Comics aren't for everyone, and if you're not a Batman fan, you're probably not going to care about this. And it's like you were saying, it's a pretty straightforward story. There's outside of like the ending and some of the flashback and the what happens to Barbara Gordon. It's nothing revolutionary or anything, but
Yeah.
uh,
But actually, I actually would, because whenever Kevin Smith marries somebody on stage, because he's a ordained minister, he gives like a short speech like marriage is great and all this, and then to really finalize it, he gives this Batman quote, and I can't figure out what it was, but it's like in darkest day and darkest night, something like that.
it sounds like that's a Green Lantern quote, not Batman.
That's what's coming up when I search for it. But it's got to be Batman because Kevin Smith, loves Batman. What would you say are some classic Batman storylines?
I'm glad you asked, because I was going to tell you some. I'm no Batman expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I have read a couple of good Batman stories. I would highly recommend, if you're looking for like a really good long story with like that you could just like involve yourself in,
Yeah.
I would recommend Batman: The Long Halloween.
Okay, I love Halloween.
It only takes place at one Halloween. The story centers on Batman trying to find the serial killer who kills someone once every holiday. And it starts on Halloween, so then it kind of goes on there. And they nicknamed this killer the Holiday Killer. And it's Batman early on in his career. So I highly recommend it. It came out with a sequel, which is good, but maybe not as good. But I'd still recommend that one called Batman Dark Victory.
Okay.
But those two back-to-back are pretty good.
I was just about to write these down so I could look it up, but then I was like, I'm going to be editing this for an hour, so I could just listen to it then.
You could do it later. I would. They're pretty popular stories, so you'll probably be able to find them at most libraries, I would imagine.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Batman Year One, which is Batman's origin story. That one's okay. I don't know. It does the job.
Is that a newer one?
No, it was made in the 80s.
Okay.
Actually, Batman Year One, a lot of the stuff that happens in that kind of dovetails into The Long Halloween, even though they're written like a decade or so apart.
Yeah.
Some of the New 52 Batman stuff by Scott Snyder has been pretty good.
Yeah.
The Court of Owls, I think, is it. There is I haven't read this myself. I've read actually the novel version of it. When Superman died in the Batman comics, they were trying to replicate something similar. So they had Batman Nightfall, where Batman's back was broken by Bane, and he had a replacement come in to do Batman stuff.
Oh, yeah?
But he discovered the replacement was kind of crazy. And so Bruce Wayne has to take back being Batman.
Yeah.
That's a pretty epic storyline, it seems. One day I'm going to sit down and read it.
Yeah.
DC Comics recently released, I don't know, it's got to be close to 400 or 500 pages, 3 volumes that chronicle the entire storyline. So it's like the Death of Superman, it's a super long storyline.
Yeah.
But a classic of the 90s.
Actually, since we're on the topic of DC Comics, do you know what Nightwing is and what the relation to Batman?
Nightwing his real name is Dick Grayson, and he used to be the first Robin. But when Robin kind of grew up and he was done dealing with Batman, he went on his own and took his new costume identity called Nightwing.
Okay, I follow.
And then Batman then got a new sidekick called Jason Todd. Jason Todd was eventually killed by the Joker because he was too reckless and all of that. And then shortly thereafter, Batman got a new Robin in Tim Drake.
Mm.
And he was a fairly popular character from the 90s up until, still today.
Okay.
But he's not the current Robin. Right now, the newest Robin is Batman's kid,
Oh, yeah?
called Damian.
Okay. So Batman got it out with somebody, huh?
In another weird way, we're talking about sexual assault. Batman, I'm not an expert, so if someone's out there listening to this and you're a Batman expert, please send us an email, let us know. But Batman was hanging out with Ra's al Ghul, a villainous character who he was played by Liam Neeson in the Batman films. And Batman, he and Raz's daughter were like kind of like an item sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she allegedly drugged him and got pregnant from him when he was drugged. And so he had no knowledge that he had a kid, let alone that he did stuff with her at this particular time. Until the kid, I guess, showed up one day, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it goes around and comes around, I suppose.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I've been doing some searching. It is a Green Lantern quote. I guess
it sounded like it, yeah.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. I'm sorry.
Hey-yo!
I guess I don't know Kevin Smith as much as I say I do. I thought it was Batman because he talks about Batman so much.
Get out.
But so if I was going to search out for another DC comic, I would probably search out whichever comic he says that one in, or maybe
the Green. That's like the Green Lantern's catchphrase.
Oh, gotcha. That's his intro.
Yeah, like when he. From what I know about Green Lantern, which is very little, like when Green Lantern has like that ring that he gets all his powers from, right?
Yeah.
Well, when he recharges the ring, he has to say that quote so the ring will recharge. Mm. So it's a very frequent quote that he'll say.
Isn't it awesome that Ryan Reynolds has been a DC and a Marvel
and a Marvel, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty wild there.
How many comics can he do? Can he do like an independent superhero, like join in with Kick-Ass or somebody?
He might. Yeah. Anything's
actually,
possible.
No, Kick-Ass is Marvel. No.
Well, technically yes, technically no. That's a gray area.
Yeah.
That's a gray area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what other he hasn't done anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so maybe he could like be two Marvels and a DC. I hope they bring him back for Justice League. They probably won't, but I would be okay if they brought him back for Justice League.
Oh no, there's no way that they would, because they've gone in such a different direction than what he was.
Oh yeah, I know, but
that would be awesome. Yeah.
I mean, Green Lantern was a terrible, terrible movie, but there are some things they're like, okay, I kind of like the world they're trying to develop there, but I think everyone's trying to forget about that Green Lantern movie.
Yeah, wait for the reboot.
Yeah, wait for the reboot. Yeah. So, do you have anything else to say on Batman: The Killing Joke that hasn't already been said?
Are you going to see the movie?
I'm not going to go out of my way to see it, probably.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched like an animated comic book adaptation that wasn't released in theaters.
Mm. Some of the DC ones haven't been too bad. Others have been. They range in quality. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't watch it even if it was on Netflix. I don't know, but part of it is just I feel like it's too. Comic book movies like that are just too Saturday morning for me, where I just feel like they would be on like ABC or something like that, and I just wouldn't get into it.
I will say this. Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix, but the Batman animated series from the mid-'90s, that was some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it holds up.
Mm.
I think on Netflix they have as of now, they have the Justice League series, which was a spin-off of the Batman one.
Yeah.
That was also pretty good. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. Actually, since you mentioned Netflix, I forgot to mention that I started watching Mr. Robot on Amazon.
Any good? I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, we are like really hooked onto it. It's really good. Makes you think. So
with Christian Slater.
Yeah. I was
good to see he's still getting work.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he's my my male crush of the week, but because I haven't seen him in a whole lot, I was like, Christian Slater, that's awesome. And then I looked him up, and he kind of has a shoddy record of like domestic abuse and drug use.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, come on, Christian, really?
Yeah, he's yeah.
Sorry, you didn't make the cut this week. Maybe donate like $1 million to like Haiti or something, and I'll reconsider.
Or he could donate $1 million to me, and that is,
Yeah.
I'll accept that. All will be forgiven. Okay, well, I have trivia for this week.
Let's
Trivia!
do it. Let's do it.
All right, Batman related.
All right. Mhm.
Okay. So, as you're aware, I'll give you a little setup here. You know, like how there was the old Batman series that was directed by Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher,
Mhm.
and then about 8 years later, they had the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so which Christopher Nolan Batman actor was considered for the role of Robin in Batman Forever? Was it A, Aaron Eckhart, who played Harvey Two-Face? Was it B, Heath Ledger, who played the Joker? Or was it C, Christian Bale, who played Batman?
Oh man.
Which of those three actors were considered to play Robin in Batman Forever?
And Batman Forever had who actually played it?
Who played Robin?
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This actor lost out to Chris O'Donnell.
So it's between Heath Ledger, Christian
Heath Ledger,
or Aaron Eckhart.
Yes.
Oh man. Well, I don't. Aaron Eckhart, Heath Ledger, or who was the third one?
Christian Bale.
Heath Ledger.
I am sorry, no. The correct answer is Christian Bale.
Was it?
According to the internet, which is never wrong,
Yeah.
Christian Bale was up for running for the role of Robin in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And according to internet rumor, so I don't know how true this is, but it's an interesting rumor. The reason that Chris O'Donnell got it over Christian Bale is that someone from Warner Brothers, possibly even director Joel Schumacher, asked a focus group of girls to say, who do they think was cuter?
Yeah.
Christian Bale or Chris O'Donnell? And Chris O'Donnell won, so they were offered him the role of Robin.
What a heartthrob.
At the time, he was a heartthrob. And so Christian Bale lost out to the role of Robin.
Chris O'Donnell, what has he been up to?
He's on one of those NCIS shows right now. He had like a decade of obscurity, and then he...
Oh my gosh. Him as Robin with Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
In the greatest Batman movie ever made, Batman and Robin.
Was her name even Barbara in that one? No, that's nowhere. That was just like so far out, wasn't it?
Her name was Barbara, but I think it was like Barbara Pennywise, or because she was Alfred. She was related to Alfred.
Really?
She wasn't related to Commissioner Gordon at all.
Right, right.
Yeah, that movie's great. Everything about it's great. Sure won the Oscar that year. And if you say no, you're crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, I think that's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, thank you, Gorehound, for joining me.
Yeah.
And thank you out there for listening. This has been the all-new Culture Cast, talking about The Killing Joke. We will see you next week with an all-new episode. Have a great night. You've been listening to the all-new Culture Cast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's Culture Cast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all-new Culture Cast, a Saltwater production, copyright 2016.